Hello students. Today let's study about sampling and non-sampling errors. By this sampling and non-sampling errors we mean the differences. It is the difference between the original findings and the findings in the samples. Sampling errors we mean the difference between sample result and the census result, the original result. Difference between the original and our findings of findings using samples. That is a sampling errors. So it is possible. It's a possible matter in this study also because almost all the cases, as we discussed in our previous topic, it is not possible to conduct census. So it's mostly we are resorting to sampling method, and possibly we can say some errors also possible. And these errors are happening due to the wrong selection of samples. While we are selecting samples, as we discussed in my previous class, we have to be very cautious and careful regarding the samples. From the population, we should have to take the exact number in a proper way. Then only you can assume that the result will be accurate or reliable. Otherwise, there are possibilities of errors. So, first of all, let's analyze what are the sampling errors. There are two types of sampling errors. We can see that. Sampling errors can be divided into two. One is biased errors and second one unbiased errors. Biased and unbiased. And you know, sampling errors are also known as cumulative errors because it's increasing. The sampling errors are increasing more and more. That is why this biased errors also known as cumulative errors. So what are biased errors? Biased errors we mean in the selection of the sample, if the person, the investigator, might have shown any such kinds of bias or prejudice, partiality while selecting, definitely the result will be biased. 100% sure. In a selection of a team, football team, the selector, the person, he is showing some partiality to his specific group. They are not much better in playing. Definitely next match they will fail. The opponent will be defeating them definitely. That's a bias. Then what we can do? So in this regard, we can reduce. There is no chance to reduce this bias. Whenever the number of sample increases, the bias also increases. That is why it is known as cumulative errors. This bias will be cumulated again and again and again. So no way to reduce that one unless until this prejudice bias is there. That's the first type of sampling errors. Second point is that unbiased errors. Unbiased error we mean it is not due to any bias. The selector was very genuine, straightforward. He has selected the right team only for the investigation. But it is because of some other problems due to the chance of difference between the units of the population selected and some units it was not selected. In selection, some units should be included in the selection, but those units did not come in our selection sampling. What we can do? It's not possible to change the team. So that is why some issues may happen in the selection of these matters and all. That's also known as random sampling errors. Because randomly we selected, that is why some errors happen in that matter. As I told you in the example, we 50 singers team. We want to get 10 singers from different categories. But unfortunately, we were not able to get that one. That is why the competition was not good, interesting. So that's an error. That's an error. So such cases, what we can do? That is unbiased. We didn't do any bias, any partiality, like the selection of the football team. So means that there is no, that's possible thing. Actually, those members should also be selected. But there is no way. When we are selected like that, we didn't get the team properly. That is due to the difference between the units of the people selected and not included. The real number of the right people should not be included in the category. That is why such kinds of error happen. In this regard, we can reduce this unbiased error when the size of sample if increases. Instead of the 10, if we are choosing 20 singers out of 50, definitely this bias can be reduced. Means we have to select large number of samples instead of few people. Clear now? So instead of 1 or 2, we have to increase the number of the students. Like the same way we are asking question in the class. Instead of asking 1 or 2 people, ask many people, then we can get the clarity regarding our conclusion regarding the students' capacity and capability. So we can derive a good conclusion regarding that one. No such kinds of unbiased errors will be there. Clear now? These are the 2 types of sampling errors. Understood? Next one, non-sampling errors. Non-sampling errors. It means it is not because of the sampling. It's because of some other matters. Non-sampling. His error is not because of sampling. It is possible in census method also. It is not the matter only, the sample method only, these such kinds of errors. It is possible in a sample method as well as in non-sample, means census method also. Any survey, it is possible. It is because of some other reasons. So that is why it is also known as measurement errors. Means it may be happened because of the improper calculation and all. And this mistake might be happened intentionally or unintentionally. It may be due to the negligence of the enumerator, or is a lack of knowledge in this matter. You don't know how to collect the information. Or it may be from the part of the informant that also happened. He did not give the correct information. That also possible. Is it not possible to reduce this mistake? How can we correct the mistake? We have to conduct the survey in its accuracy way. Simple. Say for example, still we can say that. In last census of India population 2011, I was there in the census report. And I was a supervisor there. Still I remember such a case of non-sampling errors. In that census it was requested, they have to start survey in our locality from one side. Any one side we can start. That should start from the first house of that block. It is divided into blocks. On the basis of the Gram Panchayat, it has been divided into blocks. So in that block, it is clearly marked the boundaries of our area. It's clearly given the sketch by the concerned department, village Panchayat and all. So we have to decide from where I have to start. If it is being started from one corner, we have to follow the order properly. In between the roads, small roads will be there, pocket roads, we have to consider that also, and we have to finish it accordingly, the block by block. And that should be continued. Till that end, we have to go and we have to change to the other side. That according to our convenience, no problem that way. Instead of that one enumerator, one day he started from one side, other day he started from other side. He was not aware of that one. Definitely, it is a non-sampling error. And we have to draw the maps. Those who are there in that survey, we can ask them regarding their experience of this. Is it true or not? What I am sharing here. We have to draw maps of the houses what we have visited there, and we have to put a sticker there in front of their houses in a blue sticker, I think. Because means census survey, enumeration finished. Is it? NRI is also exempted from the survey. So means we have to draw the maps. Very small map means just we have to mark the houses. We have to put the number, and the same number we have to follow in the sheet where we are preparing the information regarding the houses. It should be matched. So we have to draw very clearly because all the area is very tight. So very small drawing. And 100% sure, those who don't know how to draw the maps properly, definitely such kinds of errors might be happened there. How many are aware of that? How to draw the maps according to considering the roads? We have to consider the road and the left and right of the road. When few are drawing, it will go. Road will not be there. Only houses will be there. So if the further investigation is required, any such kinds of errors happen, the concerned authority has to investigate and verify. These are the conveniences of this one. So means it may happen. Non-sampling errors may happen due to the negligence or the knowledge, lack of knowledge, or the lack of information from the informants properly. All these are the possibilities of non-sampling errors. And some possible errors are also mentioned in our textbook. 1. Errors in data acquisition. Means due to the incorrect responses of the person, it may happen. Simple example, your teacher asked you to take the measurement of the teacher's table. In that one differences, we can see that. One boy went to take the measurement of the scale. Definitely the measurement will be different. One other went to with the tape and all. Measurement will be different. So it depends upon the individual. Data collection also be different. Depends upon the person. Or you went to a shop to check the prices of orange. Considering the shop, price may change. Price may vary from one shop to other shop. Depends upon the quality of the orange, price may change. Understood? And when you are recording the price in your paper, what he said and what you wrote, it may be different. So these are the possibilities. Errors in data acquisition. The same is possible also in case of this census enumeration and all. Possibilities of mistakes. Second thing, non-response errors. Means that few people, few informants, they didn't respond properly. The enumerator asked the question. After some time, he left. He said, I'm not interested to give the answer for all the questions. But you are, as a teacher, you are asking question to me. How can I answer to you like that? Some cases it's possible. Respondents, the informants, they will not respond properly. Some cases, the enumerator is not able to contact. Such cases, Census Commission recommended to go and meet the person compulsorily. We cannot ignore them. How many will take this matter sincerely? So these are the non-response errors, possibilities of non-response errors in this regard. Understood? One is that errors in the data collection, data acquisition. Second one, non-response errors. Clear? Let us sum up once again. So sampling and non-sampling errors can be divided into two. Errors due to sampling, errors due to non-sampling. It's not because of the sampling only. Sampling errors we mean it is a difference between the result of sample and the result of the original, means census. It's also also having two types: biased errors and non-biased errors. Biased errors are also known as cumulative errors. Non-biased errors are also known as random sampling errors, and that should be minimized. For the first one cannot be minimized, it is increasing prejudice. Unbiased errors we can reduce if we are taking more people in that group. And non-sampling errors are not because of the sampling, it's possible in all the matters. It is also known as measurement sampling, and some other forms are also there. Other errors in the data acquisition and non-response errors also possible in this regard. Hope you enjoyed the class. Tomorrow I'll come with a new topic. Thank you.